Hi, and welcome to Odyssey of Ascension. This is Roxanne. Thanks once again for tuning in. And greetings once again to the collective. This is Ocyphius from the Oversoul Collective Fire. In continuation, that of Jane will speak upon the idea of the next Indoctrine, as you would understand in the space-time now, in Doctrine 5. Stand by. And greetings once again to the collective. This is Jane from the Speaker Oversoul. Once again, we shall impart upon humanity our next idea, the next Indoctrine for the initiates in the 12 initiate idea schools, your mystery schools, if you will. All right. The next idea is that of simplicity, of knowing thyself. We're going to expand on this idea. So in Doctrine 5, first understand know thyself. Do you understand, humanity, that you cannot help truly in full if you do not know yourself in full? You cannot give in full if you don't know yourself in full. If you have an idea of lack within you, you are only, let's say, giving out in the idea of partiality. It can be no other way. For always in any kind of idea of expression, your love is expressed. Your lack is expressed as well. Even if you're in full encompassing idea of pure love with one idea of a filter, and that filter is what you would call now dissolved, that still has a resonance because you are in the physical idea of separation, of interlaced with idea of that of separation, that of lack. In other words, I love, let's say, the simplicity of life. I have no judgments on an idea of, let's say, anything, where I live. We'll go with an easy one. It is simple to be happy with the idea of living in a cave or that of a mansion. It is all subjective, most certainly. However, I still feel wonderful about the idea of living in a cave as opposed to a mansion because my definition has no filter, and I know that the cave is that of what you would call purity, creation, love. However, I still have a vibration of, let's say, questioning, an idea of doubt. For even though the definition that lies in the idea of me dwelling in a cave is pure, in other words, there's no filter, no definition, I still am encompassing the idea of lack within other parts of me. So those other parts of me birth through in every single idea of my expression upon this plane. It can be no other way. You cannot hide your expressions just because you're expressing one thing in full. You are still impartial. So in that idea, to know thyself is to find each and every single item within you that is idealized being filtered. The definition between you and your subjective reality to view it as A, love, B, fear. And don't degree fear, it's a little fear, or a lot fear. No. Fear is fear. That is the conditioning mind of grading, of degreeing, saying it's not so bad. Oh, it's pretty awesome. When truly every moment is orgasmic. Always. You are in eternal orgasm up there. May seem awesome. May want to achieve it, but then you feel right now with your filters, which keeps you inhibited, that orgasms all the time would not be wonderful. You couldn't produce. Well, you understand that you are equating it to your definition of orgasm once again, which keeps you defined. So understand how to know thyself is your next venture. Knowing thyself is always acting upon, and we will echo that of Bashar, is acting upon what you choose. Did you know? Ah, yes. We will echo that of Seth. Our friend is here. Did you understand that you're really, truly not afraid to do anything? Your actions of creating the unknown are uninhibited all the time. It is your definition on the outcome of said action that keeps you inhibited, that keeps you in fear. How do you know thyself? Act upon the excitement that lies before you, that the potentiator has given you as another idea of challenge, unveiling the belief system that keeps you limited. To know thyself is to act upon anything that in a shred of idealized excitement is the action that you must take. That's the idea. For understand, if you do not take that action, you will, let's say, get it again. It most certainly will come around again. Because that is your idea. It may come in a different idealized frequency, a different space-time now. But it is something that it is inhibiting you. It is your slice of the pie that is missing of the whole pie. To know thyself is to make thyself full. When you act upon your idealized of yourselves, you are only encompassed with outcome of fear. Are you going to be accepted? Are you going to be mocked? Are you going to be laughed upon? Are you going to fail? Are you going to be judged? Do you not meet someone's standards? Someone with a relationship of definition that has an encompassing value to you that you find definably important. It's easy to get naked in front of a stranger, isn't it? Simple. But dare not get naked in front of your parents, your lover, your family, your boss, your definition between you and perceived God. Everyone is a God. What matters to that God in your subjective reality is your definition of perceived value of the two ideas in relationship. When you look at that idea, then you would understand that that is a value point that needs to be dealt with by knowing thyself, by giving you potential ideas, catalysts, that would take that belief system that keeps you inhibited and birth it in you into your reality, lined upon a silver platter for you to experience. Then, not theory, knowing the vibrational experience of said action, whatever it may be, that brings that belief system in a vibrational context of your true now self, here and now, that tells you the truth of it. Then that value you were holding that kept you limited, that kept you unholy, is now understood from the perspective of the forgotten self. Now that forgotten self can choose to love thyself that much more. Know thyself that much more. Not fear the outcome of said action of exploring the unknown. For the unknown is all the time beckoning you. You retreat to ideas of safe harbor all the time, for the unknown is scary. But the potentiator, your higher self, goes, you need to be scared. For without vibrational experience of being scared, you know now it is the truth or is it not. You will not discover that unless you act upon that. Understand that. The initiates in that idea would go through what they would call their own ideas of excitement. They would, let's say, sit in classroom time and would write down ideas of bringing themselves to joy. Of course, at first, much like humans today, we would go with things that are sociably acceptable to speak about in excitement. I've always wanted to do this. I've always wanted to do that. But after a while, and we play those out and we would act upon them, yes. Then what's left? Oh, yes. Very good. The secrets. Oh, yes. The secrets are the, let's say, idealized bridge belief to the core beliefs. The core beliefs are the ones that are the deepest holes within your entire whole self. You are already whole, but the potentiator realizes there are holes within the fractalized self, so the potentiator gives you this piece of the pie to fill in the hole. They are most certainly those of deep, dark secret of acceptance, of reliability to perform within the construct of a definition what you're supposed to be. A wife. Everyone's definition is different. What a wife is supposed to perform, what a husband's duties are, what children are supposed to act like. All these are forgotten gods. And if every single forgotten god is allowed to flourish when their own idea of exploring themselves without judgment by you providing the Garden of Eden, then you will see a rapidity of explosion from that entity that you have allowed, because they will vibrate through every idea of vibrational hindrance in that moment and know that it's the truth. And they take that truth and they dissipate the one limitation of the moment. But the 3D mind says, oh, wait a minute, if I do that and I allow them, they're going to act in a certain way, which is, guess what? Your perception. Your subjective reality. How quick humanity is to take your own idea of another entity and throw upon them their outcome through your subjective self of your top belief systems that are fearful to keep those ideas conditioned. And then humanity slows because you're too afraid to allow someone to become beyond yourself. Is this not the greatest gift in the world? Or is your pride inhibiting you? Is it not the greatest gift in the world to watch another flower to its peak in humanity? To become that of whole. But your own lack in yourself says that they can do it, I can't do it, so I'm going to condition them. Even subconsciously, you guys are saying words that you really don't mean, but your pride, deep belief, says, oh, if they're better than me, then I won't be counted. Exposing what? Bingo. Acceptance by the mirror. When you are the mirror. This is once again why every initiate would get an idea to understand how to love themselves. Because when you're whole, you could only be God fully upon earth. Much of you know that if God came down here, all of you would shit your pants. The God would, there would be much disbelief, wouldn't there? God doesn't come down here. God doesn't do this. God doesn't do that. But you're all gods. And you're afraid to give yourself that power so you can be God upon earth. You're afraid to have that much love in you. And I tell you, you cannot create love outside. Because there is no outside. You create love by loving yourself first. We all know this is not at the expense of others. This is not service to self in the idea of egoic needs, wants, separation, status, ordained with ornaments of triumph and accomplishments so you can diarrhea all over your friends on how great you are because you're empty. Yes. You want to allow everyone around you. You want to uplift. You want to encourage. Even if they are perceived making mistakes, you allow them to skin their hearts and skin their knees. They have to learn. They only learn through experience. You cannot learn through your fear. You have to experience the fear to learn that the fear is not that at all. It is that of an empty idea that quickly diminishes, withers away, because the root of that idea of fear is scattered among the rocks. It has no soil. It is not fertilized in the foundation of love. It is airy. Truly. So your journey, humanity, is to focus upon the entity that you forgot to fall in love with. I dare say if you are God, which I know you are, it is only your belief system accepting that you are God. Who would you want to fall in love with first? The God outside or the God within? Through all of your encompassing ideas, and you don't know all of the ideas of the religious belief systems that were put into play through these collapsed timelines to bring now this ascension earth you're experiencing. The one fundamental thread in all the idea of text was that of know thyself. It is important if you choose it to be. It is not an idea to be controlled. It is not an idea to be sought after in the way of accomplishment. It is an idea to honor the God that you are, to fall in love with yourself so you can realize the beauty that you are. So you can be that flowering idea for others to gaze upon, and they walk by you and they get that beautiful fragrance that you're putting off, and it remembers and it shakes their world. And they have to hold on because they just felt themselves. Is there no act of love greater? When you love yourself, you are only beaming love. When you define yourself as loving yourself, then you are definitely within the construct of limitation. Loving yourself is not a definition. Loving yourself is a state of being. So our initiates would eventually understand themselves, bring up that of treachery, that of dogma, that of hatred for another who, let's say, took advantage of them. And there were many in those times, for the rules were not like as socialized as it is now. So we taught forgiveness, but forgiveness is not needed. It is a stepping stone, a tool. But when we would find deep within each initiate 1 to 2 core beliefs that were the treachery that was causing them to act in a certain way unbeknownst to their own awareness, they would realize that that is an idea that kept them limited, offered them pain, sorrow, and suffering. A lot of you feel it, but you cover it up very well, don't you? You cover up that lack of love for yourself with escapes, with entertainment. Next thing you know, you wake up and you're 80. You look back at your life and say, where did it go? You remember all the hard work, but you don't remember the good times. And I'm here to tell you that every moment is enriched with beyond the good times. Unfathomable, unbelievable, incomprehensible good times. And it is only your lack of love for yourself that inhibits you from those frequency, relation, idea, vibrations, realities, if you will, that allow you to see them. So love thyself, humanity. I know you can do it. Otherwise I wouldn't be here. Take time for yourself. And every time that wonderful social memory complex, mind, body, spirit complex, this I hear, this fractalized self, judges you, saying you're lazy, saying you can't, anything that defines, any word that defines a limitation, yield, stop, speed limit, in your own mind, know that that is your excitement now to push through. And you can love this self while being lazy, because it's not your laziness, it's theirs. And I would hope at this space-time now you would allow them to judge you in their own perception. It is only you being judged if you value their opinion over your love for yourself. Oh yes. Starting to see it now, aren't you? You're starting to see now how you always, in one form or another, beat the crap out of yourself. Even a little bit counts, because everything that's a little bit in that fashion creates the hole in your heart that keeps you from being holy. Most certainly. So this is all we have for this idea. We would ask that you would go back and listen to this one more time. For the ideas in here, each idea belief system that we taught in recognition of each said belief system in its idea of, let's say, the observership of yourself, as a definable acceleration for your own love for yourself encompassed within this whole LEM. Learn. Learn. L-E-R-M. Yes. So the message is encoded with a vibration that's going to start peeling away your own ideas of your own blinders. And when you can start seeing how you are judging yourself, how you are limiting yourself, every word that you say counts. Little tasking at first, little trying, we know. But you can get through that because you're the master. But you will now see how much you are truly just limiting yourself, not allowing your own love to fill the empty heart, so you may be whole again. Think about it. When you love yourself whole, would you not love everyone wholly? Because they're not there. This is your reality that you're projecting. And if your projector is love, I dare say you get love back. Because there's only one source. And that's your subjective reality. Most certainly. This is all we have in the idea of Indoctrine 5, that of know thyself. Love thyself. Choose what you will. This is Jane. Till our next space-time now, I bid you a good day. And thank you, that of Jane. It is an honor. All right, humanity. Once again, epic information for you to ponder if you choose. This is Ocyphius from the Oversoul Collector Fire. I bid you a good day. Adonai. Beautiful, Jane. I love you. That rocked. I love you guys. Thanks for tuning in. We'll speak to you in the next now. Bye.